Right, man, let's get into it. So welcome to the first live training of 2026. It is the 5th of February for all those watching back on the catch up. And one thing that I want to say is it's great to have you guys live on the call. Jason, Dan, Paul, Mr. Maltby, Jimmy there. It's great to have you here, Chris. Now, it's always good to make these calls live if you can. All right, we know not every man is going to be able to get here every single week. But on these calls, if you guys have any questions, you can ask them and you can get the answers that you need more or less straight away because I'm live on the call. And one thing that I want to touch on just before we actually do get into the training is I want to touch base, since I've got quite a few men here now, on what the two calls actually are that we're holding. All right. So Monday's call at 7:30 with both myself and Nate is about progress and direction. We look back at the week that has just gone. We look at training, we look at nutrition, we look at movement, we look at mindset. We get very, very honest. And essentially, we leave Monday knowing what worked, what didn't, and what actually matters going into next week. Basically, Monday sets the direction and the standard for the next 7 days. And the key takeaways from Monday are you're going to have clarity, you're going to have focus, and you're going to have a very clear plan for the week ahead. Okay, everyone that made it to Monday's call, Jimmy and Dan, I know that you guys took a lot from that call. And took quite a lot of momentum, to go forward into the week. So that's what Monday's call is about. So again, we know that not every single guy can make it there, but if you can make it there, definitely do, because it is a great intention set for the week forward. Now, one thing that I do want to mention with Thursday's call, and I will be putting this in the group as well. Me and Nate were speaking earlier on this week, and before me and Nate actually started working together, I had a business with my fiance called Best Yet Bodies, where we coach both men and women, and we delivered live trainings just like the one that I'm going to be delivering tonight. And they worked very, very well. It got people great results because they were able to learn and not get overwhelmed. Now, me and Nate said that we were going to do this every Thursday, but we're not going to do it every Thursday anymore. One, because realistically, are all the guys going to be able to come to Monday at 7:30 and Thursday at 7:30 every single week? Probably not. And we also don't want to overwhelm you guys with way too much information. We want these live trainings to be lessons that we're learning, so we can implement them and so we can get the best results ever, not to be diluted, and the quality to be diluted because they're on too frequently. But so what I want to say with that is Monday's call is going to be every single Monday at 7:30. And Thursday's call, which is a live training, is going to be on the first Thursday of the month. And it's going to rotate between myself, which I'm going to be touching more on sort of like training and nutrition. And then next month on the first Thursday of the month is going to be Nate, where he's going to be touching more on sort of like mindset. But this Thursday's call is essentially where we strip out myths, where we strip out bad habits and sort of like wasted effort, and we actually replace it with very simple principles that you guys can use for life. Essentially, you're going to leave Thursday's call, whether it be me, training and nutrition, whether it be Nate, more sort of like mindset and motivation. You'll leave educated and you'll leave sharper, and that is essentially what gets results. So the key takeaway from Thursdays is more understanding, more confidence, and better decisions long term. Monday's call is more of a check-in to sort of keep you guys on track. Monday keeps you on track, Thursday levels you up, and one without the other kind of slows progress. Together, that's how we build sustainable results, because you get the education part of it as well. Okay, so today's call, how to get results without living in the gym. Something that we all probably want to know. Before I get into talking about training sets and reps, I want to make something very, very clear. this call right here is not about doing more. It's about doing what actually works. Now, most men do not lack effort, okay? There's some men that, well, in fact, all men that are on this call now probably went through a patch of being very inconsistent with going to the gym to now showing, you know, a minimum standard of I train at least sort of like 3 days a week. Training's important to me. But nevertheless, most men don't lack effort. All right. Most men are sort of showing up to the gym. And this is something that I see all the time. I obviously train 3 to 4 times a week. I'm in the gym. I see men sort of like putting the effort into the right places, putting the effort in, but it's not necessarily into the right places. And I see a huge lack of clarity around how to actually maximize the intensity that's actually being put into these gym sessions. And I see so many guys showing up and training, but just not training with intent. So many guys could be so much more stronger than what they actually are if they put that effort into the right places. So tonight is about sort of stripping all of the noise away. This is what I'm really trying to do with this presentation, with this training. I'm really trying to strip the noise away completely and give you guys a real understanding of how to actually maximize your time spent in the gym if you're a busy man or if you're a busy dad. Okay, so keep those eyes and ears open. One thing that I want you to do as well, because I am going to fly through this, one thing that I want you guys to do is if you do have a question on anything during this call, I want you to just type it out in chat and I will get to it at the end of the call. All right. And just remember as well, no question is a stupid question. All right. If you're not sure whether you should ask it, you should probably ask it. Okay. Like that's one massive lesson that I've learned throughout my life as well, is if I don't know the answer to a question, it's not a stupid question. All right. So don't be afraid to chuck it in the chat box if you do have a question come up. Okay. So the problem that we're actually solving here is most men think they need more gym days. All right. I'm training all right. I'm not getting the results I want. Maybe I should do a couple of extra days in the gym. Maybe I should mix my gym routine up a little bit. You know, it's easy in this day and age to watch stuff on social media, see someone in whatever you want to call good shape and be like, oh, maybe I should do a chest press sitting this way, or maybe I should grab a plate and press out here and do all these fancy things that we see people do on social media. Some men think they need more motivation as well. And a lot of you men have come to learn that motivation comes and goes very, very quickly. But what actually moves the needle is the opposite. All right. It's actually fewer sessions, but intent put into the right places. It's having clearer structure, and it's having consistency across the board with the same lifts. It's about having clarity on what you're training and why you're actually training it. And again, intent into the right places. Now, one thing that I want to touch on as well is consistency across the board with actual same lifts in the gym. You are never going to get good doing a deadlift or doing a squat or getting strong at a chest press if it is consistently rotated out of your plans every 4 weeks. I'm a really good example of this. Miles as well is a great example of this, who's not on the call tonight. But Miles has actually been on the same training plan, I reckon, for like 6 months. he just progresses at the exercises all the time. He enjoys the exercises that he's doing, and you know, there's a reason why he's gone from pressing 30 kilogram dumbbells up to 50 kilogram dumbbells. And he thought that he'd never be able to get up to them. The fact of the matter is, he's just drilled the exact same movement. And chances are, if we're getting bored with our gym sessions, it's probably not our gym sessions that we're getting bored with. It's probably something else, sort of like something else that's getting involved there. You know, are we feeling like a little bit of a lack of motivation? Well, obviously that pulls back to more of the mindset, more of the reason why. But listen, not to go off topic. Another huge part is actually knowing why you're actually doing what you're doing. This is absolutely huge. Like I said, the problem is most have been putting effort into the complete wrong places. And effort with direction doesn't lead to results. Me and Jimmy trained in the gym after a Saturday call. I don't know, I think it must have been a couple of months ago now. And Jimmy said to me, it's crazy because me and Jimmy have known each other all of our lives. And he said to me, why do you not train as hard as what you did, but you're in the best shape you've ever been in? And back in the day, Nate can vouch for this as well. We used to be doing double drop sets on the hack squat. We used to be absolutely screaming in the gym. Like, and if anything, like I'd just leave the gym with my knees feeling a little bit sore, feeling fatigued for the rest of the day, not feeling good at all, under recovered, probably slightly under eating as well, training in the gym sort of literally 5-6 days a week. But the intent was just completely in the wrong places. To now consistently putting the intent into the right places, and I'm going, you know what, I train 3 to 4 days a week. But the battle plan is absolutely solid. I know exactly what I'm doing in the gym and why I'm doing it. So the comfort trap. All right. So most of you men, your sets have changed, and the guys that are listening back to the recording of this, you might have a new training plan and your sets might look slightly different. For example, you might have one set of 6 to 8 and a back off set of 10 to 12. I can see Paul Roberts nodding his head. He knows about this as well. And I'm going to get on to explaining that in a minute. But I want to touch on something first and foremost, because I don't want this to get sort of misled or confused. 3 sets of 10 to 12 isn't wrong. Okay, there's definitely a place for doing 3 sets of 10 to 12. Dan, for example, has got 3 sets of 10 to 12, 3 sets of 15 to 20, 3 sets of 8 to 10 or whatever in his program. And all of you guys have had that. In fact, some of you guys might have 3 sets of 15 still in your program. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. But what can happen is after a period of you training in the gym consistently, it can just get a little bit comfortable. Okay. So if you are a beginner in the gym, if you are new to the gym, 3 sets of 10 to 12 is where you need to start off with. 1, because you're only just getting consistent with the gym. And 2, you probably don't have much of an understanding of the intensity that you can actually train at, because the focus is actually just going into turning up into the gym in the first place, right? It's not going into, right, I need to put my all out effort into one working set here. It's actually going, right, 3 sets of 10 to 12, moving on to the next exercise and just getting consistent with that. And by the way, if you are new to the gym and new to actually having consistency within the gym as well, you'll actually see a lot of progress doing that. Your body adapts very, very well to stress. And if you haven't lifted weights in a while, and then you go into the gym and you get consistent with 3 sets of 10 to 12, and you look at upping your weights a little bit, you look at upping your reps a little bit, and you stay consistent with that, you are, of course, going to see progress. But as you get a better understanding of your intensity in the gym, that's where we need to change things a little bit. So, Dan, on this call, I don't want you to think, oh, well, am I wasting my time? You're not wasting your time. I've got a battle plan for each and every single one of you. And what's going to happen is when we reach that point of going, okay, let's up the intensity a little bit, that's when we start to look at doing 1 working set instead of sort of 3 average weight sets. But we'll get onto that, Dan, when we need to get onto it. But comfort gives the body no reason to change, essentially. So, Dan, you're a great example of this. If we were training like this another year down the line, the line, and you showed up consistently in the gym, if you were still doing sort of like 3 sets of 10 to 12, your body would be sort of like crying out for a little bit more challenge. It'd probably stall muscle growth quite a bit. So, for example, if you were on the leg press, all right, and the weight hasn't changed in months, if the reps haven't progressed, if the sets haven't progressed, if the exercise selection is a little bit random, your body has no new stimulus to adapt to. So basically what I'm saying here in real simple terms is same weight equals the same body. No progression, there's no real demand. And if there's no demand, there's no real growth. All right. And most men reach that point where they're actually pretty consistent in the gym, but then they're under training, which leads to under progressing. Okay. No progression equals no reason for the body to change. Same weights equals same body. Now, what actually builds strength and muscles? There's a lot of things. All right. It's what the body actually responds to. Muscle grows for quite a few reasons, but some of the main ones are the sets and reps need to be challenging. The exercise selection actually needs to make sense. And the load, again, reps or sets or weight, needs to progress over time. And then on top of that comes obviously nutrition, comes recovery, sleep, and hydration. But let's just try to focus in on the weight, the reps, and the sets today. Okay. What your muscles don't care about is how many exercises you did. I can go into the gym tomorrow. I could do 10 exercises if I wanted, but I could do sort of like 10 very sort of like average intense exercises. Yeah, your muscles don't care about how long the session was. You could be in the gym for 5 hours if you wanted to, but I can guarantee I could get more done in 45 minutes than what some people are doing in sort of, 2 hours in the gym. I genuinely see that. I used to see that a lot when I was personal training. People used to be in the gym for like a couple of hours. And obviously people go to the gym for different reasons, to be a little bit sociable. But for me, I'm a busy guy. I want to go in, I want to do what I need to do, and I want to get out and I want to crack on with my day, be it work, be it with family. Okay. And also another one is gym sessions don't care muscle growth and strength. It doesn't, being sweaty, for example, doesn't equal an intense gym session. What it equals is you're a little bit hot. Think about what happens when you go in the sauna. You come out and you're sweating, right? It doesn't mean that you've lifted any weights. It means that you've been sat in a hot room. I see people mistake that all the time. PTs are a big one to blame for it. Like, my client left feeling ill after the gym session. Well, that's not a win. They just probably ate too close to them working out. Or, I've been absolutely sweating buckets. Well, you could sweat buckets on a sunny day, but it doesn't mean that you've sort of lifted any weights. Every man's body responds well to stress, okay? So if you are sleeping well, if you are fueling your body right with the right foods, be sure to put it under some stress in the gym. Be sure to train hard, because if nothing increases, sets, reps, weights, there's nothing really for the body to adapt to. So it's important that we can go into the gym. It's important that we can look at the numbers that we've got wrote down. And it's important that we can try beat them numbers if we can, by adding a little bit more weight, by doing 1 or 2 more reps, maybe even adding another intense set there as well. Why 3 sessions can beat 7? Just give us a thumbs up. I can see your cameras. Like I said, I've got so many screens going on at the minute. Give us a thumbs up if this is hitting home for you guys. I want to make sure that you guys are taking something from this. I don't just want to be talking. I'm looking forward to not ending the call, getting to the end of the call and seeing if we've actually got any questions in there. Remember, guys, if you do have any questions, feel free to get them in the chat box. Now, 3 focus sessions with intent will beat 7 very average sessions every single time. If you're doing 7 sessions in the gym, which not many people are, but let's take me, for example, when I was doing sort of like 5, 6 sessions in the gym, some of them were rushed. Yeah, I was doing the exercise and I couldn't wait to get to the end of it just so I could write my numbers down, move on to the next exercise. Okay. Some of them are random. Yeah. And some of them are just very, very inconsistent across the board. Now, if you get real dialed in to 3 sessions with the right intent, with the right clarity, chances are you will push harder and you will actually progress a hell of a lot more. Quality, you've all heard this before, quality beats quantity, especially when life is busy. So again, 3 focus sessions equals a higher output. I know exactly what exercises I'm doing. I know pretty much exactly what reps that I hit, what sets I hit, what weight that I hit. You're allowed, you can just tune in a lot more. So I've got a dumbbell press, for example. I'm sat here with my weights. I'm ready to do my working set. All right. And I know in my head that the next time I've got to beat these numbers is next week. Like, this opportunity is not going to come again until next week. So I'm going to put absolutely everything into this set, which therefore is going to put your body under more stress. And again, if your recovery is good, if your nutrition's on good, again, I'm not asking anyone to be perfect here. But if it's, 80%, then we're winning across the board. Our body's going to adapt to that, and we are going to make the changes with strength and with muscle growth. Okay. 7 average sessions, equals constant fatigue. So moving on to recovery and time. And what I want to say as well, guys, with all of this stuff, I could do a call, an hour's call, maybe even 2 hours call on just recovery as a whole. And we probably will be doing something like this moving forward, because recovery is a huge part of this as well. But because we're talking so heavily about training hard here, I really want to touch on this because it's really, really important. You do not grow in the gym, all right? You get stronger in the gym, okay? But muscles don't grow in the gym. You grow when you recover from the gym, okay? Now, as a dad, personally for me, and as most of the guys that are on the call, you're all busy, right? Now, recovery isn't optional. It should definitely be a priority. If you are turning up to the gym and you are training, if you are a man that deals with a lot at work, if you are a man that's got a lot on with the kids as well, recovery needs to be a priority. Sometimes it's hard for us to prioritize that because we do prioritize everything else, but recovery needs to be a priority. So poor sleep, inconsistent meals, too much volume in the gym, sort of like, 3 sets of 10 to 15. Again, there's definitely a place for that. But when you understand how to train with the right intensity, again, it's probably too much volume. That leads to stalled fat loss, okay? Because the effort isn't put into the right places. It leads to aches and pains, and it leads to just feeling burnt out across the board. And eventually you're probably just going to stop training altogether. One thing that I really want you men to know is training should support your life, not drain it. Like that's the thing for me. If I genuinely ask myself, Jord, like, what makes a day go really, really well? Going to the gym is in there. Going to the gym is one of the first thing that's in there. It makes a day go really well for me. What makes a day not go so well is probably not moving my body. I've got some steps to get in tonight. What we're on? We're only on 6,500 steps. And I've got a choice at the end of this call. Either go out and get some movement in, or I just delay it until tomorrow. Chances are I'll be busy tomorrow as well. So, it's all about having that intent into the right places. And plus, movement is actually king. It helps with recovery so much. If your legs are sore from like a leg session, for example, sitting still, letting them seize up is not going to help them. Actually moving your legs is what's going to increase blood flow and what's going to help. The minimum effective dose. This is the Jack Dad sweet spot. Okay, 3 structured sessions. This is what we want to be aiming for. 3 structured sessions, clear progression across the board, enough recovery to actually grow and to actually train hard. Okay, we're not doing less because we just want to be lazy. It's not a case of being lazy. We're doing less because actually, again, intent put into the right places, it's much more effective. The goal isn't to survive your training. The goal is to simply build momentum that you can actually sustain. There's a saying that's stuck with me for a while now, and the saying is, you can only train as hard as what you can recover. So if your recovery is shit, if your sleep shit, if your nutrition's shit and it's out the window, it's like no wonder sometimes we're feeling a little bit demotivated to get to the gym, because our body's feeling fucked anyway. Like, we're already feeling burnt out because all of these things aren't in place. And again, it's not about being perfect. It's not about like going, oh shit, right. This week it's a fresh start, clean slate. I need to do steps. I need to get on my nutrition. I need to hydrate more. I need to sleep on time. I need to train hard in the gym. It's actually like, okay, if everything's gone to shit, focus on one thing. Focus on getting 10,000 steps in a day. Because I can guarantee you that momentum is going to spill into so much more. And eventually you'll just be up to training consistently across the board, eating meals that you know fuel you, knowing and recognizing that actually if I go to bed at this time, I feel a lot better. And if I get up at this time, I feel great too, instead of just sort of blagging everything and then restarting every single Monday. So that is the minimum effective dose. 3 structured sessions as a minimum across the board. Focusing on progressive overload. So progressive overload, again, I could do another call for hours on progressive overload. Progressive overload basically means we're progressively overloading that muscle with a new stimulus. Reps, sets, weight. You could even lower your rest time if you wanted. There's so much stuff that you could do here. I think I put a slide in here. Yeah. So this I'm going to try keep this as simple as I possibly can. Now, this is the slide that I feel like you guys might have some questions too. So if you do, please write them in the chat box. The example that I've got here, okay, is a dumbbell chest press. Okay. So many of you men that are on the call, some of you are similar, but some of you have a different environment to training. So Dan, for example, who you've not missed a session across the board, man. You're absolutely killing it. But we've literally just started to get more comfortable with exercises in the gym. So that's why 3 sets of 10 to 12 is in your programming. Mr. Maltby, you've only got a certain selection of weights at home. So it's a case of being like, okay, well, we actually do need a little bit more volume in order to get that tax that we need on the body. Because if you were to do 1 set of 6 to 8 on bench press, Chris, like it'd be really easy for you, man, because you don't have enough weights for it. Okay. So we sometimes we've also got to take a step back, look at the environment, look at what tools we've actually got to use, and then make a decision based off that as well. But this is one thing that I want to touch on, right? This is how I've trained for years now. I do 1 heavy set of 6 to 8, depending on the exercise, might be 8 to 10. Okay. But that's the rep range that I tend to go for. 1 set of 6 to 8 and 1 set of 10 to 12 with slightly higher volume. Okay. So 10 to 12 is obviously more volume than what 6 to 8 is. Now, these are just 2 working sets that I'm doing. So like a load of guys will look at this and be like, oh, 2 sets. That's a lot easier than 3 sets of 10 to 15. But if you're putting the intent into the right places, it should be a hell of a lot harder. So let's say, for example, I come to the gym, right? And it's session 1 of the week. And it's a push session and dumbbell chest press. I've done a couple warm-ups with the band or whatever, a couple planks, couple bird dogs and stuff like that. Now it's time to get into it. Do a couple press-ups or whatever my warm-up, right? And then I go into, I come to my first exercise, which is a dumbbell chest press, right? And I know I'm just going to speak personally from me because it's easier to speak about, to use this example. Currently, for a set on the dumbbell chest press, I'm hitting 47.5 kilogram dumbbells for, I believe I got 8 reps on them this week, okay? Now, with dumbbell chest press is my first exercise, and I know that I can lift 47.5 kilogram dumbbells. What I'm not going to do is just go in and pick up them 47.5 kilogram dumbbells straight away, because holy shit, they're going to feel heavy. Like mentally, they're going to feel heavy. My joints are definitely going to know about them because I haven't warmed up. I haven't mentally warmed up to that heavy weight, and I haven't sort of physically warmed up to that heavier weight as well. So just using this as an example across the board, with dumbbell chest press being the first exercise, what I would tend to do is more warm-up sets. So I'd probably pick up the 20 kilogram dumbbells, right? Which are really light for me. They're not going to tax me at all. And I'm just going to do 10 reps just to make sure my shoulders are feeling good, My chest is feeling good. My triceps, my elbows are feeling good. Not taxing me at all. 20 kilogram dumbbells is not fatiguing me. Okay. Like I said, the numbers are going to be different for each and every single one of you men, depending on where you're at and what exercises you have. And then I'm going to re-rack the dumbbells. I'm going to take a couple of minutes. Take whatever you need. Take a couple of minutes. All right. And then from there, I'm probably going to pick up the 30s, right? Which is a little bit of a jump again, but it's not taxing for me. I'm going to do like 5 reps. Okay. Again, not taxing me. Now, if I was to do a set of 12 with those 30 kilogram dumbbells, it probably taxed me quite a bit, but I'm not. I'm just doing a set of 5. I'm going to put the dumbbells back, get a couple more minutes rest, and pick up the 40 kilogram dumbbells, probably go for 3 reps. So again, a little bit heavier, but I'm only doing 3 reps. So again, I'm not getting fatigued. And then I'm going to pick up maybe the 42s or maybe the 45 kilogram dumbbells. I'll probably just go for 1 or 2 reps. And what I have done there is I have warmed up as close to my working set weight as I possibly can without fatiguing myself. So now I'm mentally prepared. I know what the weights are going to feel like in my hand. I'm physically prepared. My elbows are warm. My triceps are warm. My chest has already got a little bit of connection going there, but I haven't fatigued myself. And then I sit down with my 47.5 kilogram dumbbells and I go, right, Jord, you've got 1 opportunity to get this now. You've got 1 set of 6 to 8 to get. Lie back. I empty the tank. I go all out for that 1 heavy working set. Now, this week, I hit 8 reps, which is the top end of my rep range. So next week, I pick up the 50 kilogram dumbbells and I try hit the bottom end of the rep range, the 6 reps. Okay. And that's how progressive overload is done. So again, the 47.5 kilogram dumbbells for me, I hit 8 reps on. Next week, when I come to do this exercise, I look in my app, I go, okay, 47.5 kilograms for 8 reps. I know that my working set now is the 50 kilogram dumbbells and I warm up as I need to without fatiguing myself. After I've done my heavy working set, sometimes you might only have 1 working set on something. Sometimes you might have 2 working sets on something. Sometimes you might have 1 working set of 6 to 8 and a back off set of 10 to 12. Okay. For example, I've done my back off set now of 10 to 12. So I've taken a couple of minutes reps. I'm feeling good about myself. I hit I hit more than what I did the week before. And now it's back off set time. So what I'll do obviously is I have my numbers wrote down for what I lifted the week before. I think it was 40 kilogram dumbbells that I hit this week, and I believe I got 12 reps as well, which is mint because it means that I've progressed in 2 sets there. All right, I've progressed across the board in 2 sets. So next week I'll do the 50 kilogram dumbbells, try hit 6 reps, get a little bit of rest, and then I'll step up to the 42.5 kilogram dumbbells and try hit again 10 reps on there. Depending on how the 50 kilogram dumbbells go, I might just go, okay, do you know what? I've already upped my working set weight, so the back off set stays the same. As long as there is progression in one of those sets. If there is not progression in one of those sets, we then question, okay, how was sleep? How was food? How is recovery across the board? Have I done, what my dumbbell chest press, it's usually first exercise, but instead have I done it third exercise? And I've done other chest exercises before, because if that's the case, your chest is going to be more fatigued and you come into it third exercise. So you do just got to play it smart sometimes. But this is what I want you guys to do is after you've done that heavy set, Dan, for you with the 3 sets of 10 to 12 at the minute, I really want you to highlight one set that's going to be like a pretty heavy set. Okay, that's going to be a pretty all-out set instead of just doing sort of like maybe 20 kilogram dumbbells for a set of 12, having a little bit of rest, feeling all right, and then going back in for another set of 12 of them, having a little bit of rest, and then going back in again. Again, your body adapts well to stress, so put it under that stress. Let me just before I carry on, let me just see if we've got any questions there. I think Paul, do you just in fact one sec, let me have a look. Let's see. We've been working sets, back off sets for a while now, and I feel it really works for PBs. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, perfect. Paul, I might just bring you on at the end. But yeah, Paul's been implementing the working set and back off set as well, and it's crazy. Like, it's honestly crazy. Once fellas implement this style of training, a deadlift, for example, goes from 60 kilograms up to 130 kilograms, 140 kilograms, purely because they're going all out on the one heavy set. They're doing more damage in that one heavy set to muscles. You want to do damage to muscles. You don't want to do damage to joints. You want to do damage to muscles. But they're going out on that. The more intent is going into that one heavy working set rather than just sort of 3 to 4 average sets across the board. One thing that I want to touch on there, though, this is really, really important. Form plays a massive role in this. So if I pick up those 50 kilogram dumbbells next week and I go, George, you know what? Come on, you hit 47.5s last week for 8. You need to be hitting these 50 kilogram dumbbells. And I pick up the dumbbells and I'm like, yeah, they're feeling good. And I'm like, yeah, I got 7 reps. Was my form the exact same as what it was on the 47.5 kilogram dumbbells? Like, we don't want to cheat our way into these numbers here because, again, we're just cutting corners. We want to make sure that our form's good. We want to make sure that the eccentric bit, nice and controlled, stretching the chest, pause, big drive up. Again, form is another hour call, really, that I could go through as well. But we just want to make sure that everything that we're doing is the same across the board. The only thing that's changing is the weight that we're adding on, the sets, or the reps are progressing as well. Okay. Right. We're nearly there, team. We're nearly there. Standards going forward. We train with intent. It's as simple as that. We get in the gym, we train with intent. If you guys think that you could be training a little bit harder or intent maybe isn't going into the right places, I want you to drop a message in the one-to-one chat with myself and Nave, and we can have a look at things. If you feel like, when me and Jimmy trained in the gym again a couple months ago, he actually said to me, like, I'm ready, because Jimmy knows this style of training. He was like, I'm ready to step it up a little bit now. I'm ready for that working set. I'm ready for the back off set. I'm ready to put my intensity into the right places. Again, Jimmy's an example of this. He went from, I can't remember the numbers, Jim, maybe put them in chat, went from deadlifting like 80 kilograms maybe at the start, maybe 60 kilograms on the hex bar, up to 100 and, correct me if I'm wrong, Jim, 140, maybe put it in the chat. But either way, it was huge progression across the board. Okay. So we go in the gym and we train with 10, 60 to 140. Fucking it's crazy. It's crazy. And you start training harder with 140, man, you're soon up to 180. And then you're soon going, holy shit, I've gone from being so inconsistent to the gym to training 3 days a week. And I'm the strongest that I've ever been, which, by the way, bleeds into so much more than just putting on muscle. It bleeds into everything. As we get older, you'll hear this all the time, my metabolism slowed down. It hasn't. You've stopped moving. You've stopped looking after what you eat, and you've lost muscle. And as we get older, us men, we're all getting older, okay? Muscle's super, super important to us from a longevity point of view as well, not just to look good, but to feel good, to perform good. It actually plays a massive role in how many calories you burn a day as well. Muscle is absolute gold. That's the point that I'm trying to get across to you. So we train with intent. We track progression. If you don't track these numbers down, again, there'll be sessions that you want to do. Jimmy, for example, who's missed a couple of gym sessions for the past couple of weeks. For him, Jimmy, get in the gym. Don't stress about hitting numbers. Just go get a workout in. You know, sometimes this shit's going to happen. It's fine just to go off the rails every now and again and just do whatever you want to do. But tracking your numbers down, super, super important. If you want to get stronger, if you want to maintain muscle, if you want to build muscle, because the last thing that we want to do is lose it. It is absolute gold. So we train with intent. We track progression. We don't chase after soreness. We don't chase after sweating. Chances are, if you're sore, put your hand up here. If you haven't been to the gym for a while, you suddenly go back to the gym, or for example, you might train a muscle group that you haven't trained in a while, and you're like, holy shit, I'm fucking really sore. Yeah, I have. That's happened to me a lot. Train my adductors. Jimmy knows about this as well. inner thigh muscles. If you haven't been on the adductor machine for a while, and then suddenly you go on it, boy, do you know about it. But it's a sign that you should probably hit that muscle group a little bit more, or you're under recovered. So your sleep's probably shit. Your nutrition could maybe be a little bit better as well. So soreness isn't a good sign of a decent session. Probably means we're a little bit under recovered somewhere along the way. We don't waste sessions, right? We don't want to go in the gym. Becky asks me all the time, every time I get back in the morning, Beck says to me, how was your gym session? I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Stop asking me that. Like, it's always a good gym session, because literally I get in, it's a time for me. I put my headphones on, I get my music on. I might see Jason there in the morning. I might see Nathan Halls there in the morning, see the boys training, working hard. Sometimes I see Jimmy, sometimes I see Chris there. Paul, I know that me and you train at different gyms. Dan, I know you're down in London. Mr. Maltby, I know that you don't see me in your garden or your garage. But anyway, it's good that us guys are in the gym and we can say hi, we can hop on these calls and just see how everything's going. But I get into the gym, I put my headphones on, and I'm like, I've got my numbers that I hit. Automatically, I'm in the zone, because I'm like, I don't have this same opportunity until next week. And you know what, guys? Sometimes you are going to be feeling a little bit fatigued in the week. Sometimes you're not going to hit the numbers that you need to hit. It doesn't matter. It's absolutely fine. We'll lean into recovery a little bit more. You know, there's progression either way. But we don't want to waste these sessions, okay? Every single session that you do, it has a purpose. The purpose is to get stronger, to put more time back into yourself. And each week should have direction to it. We should be looking at our numbers in the gym, especially if we want to get stronger, and we should be aiming to beat them. I can't tell you how many guys that I see that sort of go into the gym, they're consistent with it for a while, then they fall off, then they see a shiny object, they think they should do something like CrossFit, they start going to maybe like a High Rocks class or something like that. And don't get me wrong, I've done High Rocks before, but strength training has always been a top priority. So I'll give you an example. I saw a really old client of mine a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, how's training going? And he was like, yeah, I'm still training. I was like, that's a win, because you're still training. But he's wanted to mix it up a little bit, so he got into CrossFit. I was like, how's CrossFit treating you? And he's like, yeah, not good. I've just gone back to my gym sessions. I've just gone back to the normal gym sessions that I used to do. I was like, oh, how come? And I knew what the answer was going to be. Or I just kept getting injured. And it's because, like, these sessions look great. They look great to watch on social media and stuff like that. But chances are they're just jumping around for an hour to walk out and feel like they've done something, feel like fatigued, but they actually haven't built the strength that they want for longevity purposes as well. Ask any top level athlete, a marathon runner, like any sport, basketball player, football, baseball, golf, tennis player, whatever sport it is, there will be an element of strength training in there. Strength training is super, super important. And it's also important that we aim to progress with it as well. So, guys, from this call, a couple of things that I hope you have taken out of it. And I hope you've taken out exactly what matters and what actually doesn't matter. If you train less but progress more, that's a fucking win. If your body feels better, all right, if your energy improves, your life gets easier to manage. You get better results in less time. And we win across the board. The intent gets put into the right place. From the intent getting put into the right place, recovery then becomes a priority. If I want to keep training like this, if I want to keep feeling strong, I know that I need to sleep. I need to prioritize my sleep. I also know that, you know, like you will have, and I still have days like this where, you know, the day before I train is an important fueling day as well. Think about like a marathon runner, right? If they've got a race coming up, it's the nutrition on the day matters of the race, but the nutrition the week before matters a hell of a lot as well. Okay. And if my nutrition has been maybe a little bit all over the place the day before, I then see the effect that it has the next day when I'm training. I try not to play on it too much, but it's just I get this sort of like indication of going, do you know what, Jord? This is why we're on it with your food a little bit more, bud. Because if you want to hit them 50 kilogram dumbbells, get to bed on time and eat your food. And it's as simple as that. So, men, thanks very much for being here. Let me just stop sharing my screen. I'm going to try not to